back. Kamogelo Walaza is known for their work, innovative work that is in the art world. As the curator of the solo exhibition Identities by Tshepo Phokojoe, she has played a crucial role in showcasing the artist's unique perspective and creative vision. Her dedication to promoting diverse voices and perspectives within the arts makes them a vital figure in South Africa's cultural landscape. Kamogelo is also working on Senses, a group of exhibitions that engages with material elements and physicality of 5 senses. Kamogelo and Tshepo join us now in studio to tell us more. Very good morning to you too. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Great stuff. Good to have you. I'm going to start with you, Kamogelo. What inspired you to create Tshepo Phokojoe's solo exhibition Identities at the Con Hill?
So I always have a personal conversation with the artists that I engage with. So Tshepo and I, during our first studio visit, I sort of asked him to sort of tell me like storytelling about his background, about his life, right? Yeah. Not too much, we don't get too personal, but we get to a point whereby it's like storytelling. And he told me about the different places he's lived at, you know, so he spoke a lot about Soweto. You know, Soweto is very dynamic and is very versatile. You know, so that's where we came up with the word identity first, and then I'm like, how about we make it a bit more objective and we look at identities, you know, so that any person who comes into the exhibition space can sort of see themselves, whether you come from the LGBTI community, whether you're female, whether you're male, whether you like a young child, and when you come into the space and you see his artwork, you see different identities.
Okay, that's so you can identify with whatever element is in that exhibition.
Yeah, and, and even if you don't,
strike a resonance with it.
And even if you don't, it's also okay. That also says something about like what identities means as well, you know. Yeah.
So when you got the brief, is there a personal touch that you added into the exhibition as a curator?
Social practice, that I am one with the artist. So I make sure that in as much as I come up with a concept and idea, that it becomes our idea as well. It's very important to also put in the ideas of what the artist wants, you know. So it's collaboration at the end of the day.
Right. All right, Tshepo, let me also rope you in. So what was the inspiration behind Identities?
The whole show was just to figure out the space so that people, they can find themselves in that whole thing. So there was a lot of just the moving around, just figuring things out, and just to try and make things that do not make sense in a way, and create a space so that people, they can associate themselves with. Yeah. So that was the whole inspiration behind the whole show.
So how do you see your photography contributing to conversations and dialogues around identity?
The show, it's a bit personal in a way because it's about my movement around the city. Okay. So it's about the collection of material and me moving around the city and meeting different kind of people. Right. So it's just to try and how do I recognize those kind of people and how do I make them seen in a way. Yeah.
Now, Kamogelo, how does the unique setting of the women's jail in the Constitution Hill sort of influence the exhibition and what it seeks to achieve?
So that place is a very vulnerable space as well, right? So we don't want to evoke any emotions when people come in, but we also want to commemorate the people that were in there, you know. So that's why we were so careful in choosing the theme of identities, you know, so that the nuance and the people who are in that jail also can identify themselves in that space, you know. So the women's jail, the people that are in there, their identities are also identified within the space as well.
That is so profound. Yeah. That is so profound. Just take us through the curation process, what you went into and, other elements that you've added into it.
Okay, so Bag Factory called us in and we had like a beautiful presentation. That we had to do before Bag Factory that's currently funding us right now. Okay. And then we sort of spoke about our practices, you know. So I was listening to Tshepo's presentation about how he uses textile materials and the sun cloth, you know. And then after that, I believe in like having multiple visits with the artists, but also giving them space to be able to create. So I do my research as well on my side, and then I give him what I call homework. But like but Tshepo preferred the word research. He hates the word homework, you know.
Because it always reminds us of high school homework.
Yes, you know.
That's a
So
very bad word
yeah,
to
it's a
use.
very bad word to use, you know. So so I'm like, so I give him like research to go out into the space to sort of like find names for the soft sculptures that are there as well. So it's a back and forth of coming in and out, and then we have site visits as well to see how his soft sculptures can get into the space as well.
Right. Now, Tshepo, what techniques or approaches did you use, to visually tell the story or to visually explain the complexities around identity?
So in the show, you're going to find a lot of these found hands, mannequin hands. So those hands, actually, Mbegezeli Mbele yesterday was actually questioning me. He was like, why hands? But then it was like, hands, like, they're much more universal in a way. Because of to get a taxi to town, this is how you make a taxi to stop. But then also the hand, it's for people to imagine the person that's there, but then not to be specific that this is actually you. But then it's just to use the found hands as a visual representation of the whole idea so that people can imagine themselves in that position.
Okay.
So that's the whole approach of it. But then it's just found materials, yeah.
Earlier on with Kamogelo, we talked about how people who view this exhibition will strike a personal resonance with it. So, I mean, we've got different interpretations for different kinds of works, but how would you like your audience to interpret your work specifically?
I just want them to relate to the work and find themselves in the work.
Okay.
That's the only approach that I have, because of, as a visual artist, I'm only creating space for people to enter and see if they can identify themselves in that space or not. So that I give them, it's either you're in or out, or there's no in between in a way. So it's also to allow the audience to observe the work and however they take it and what they say about it, it's totally up to the audience and how they receive what I've offered to them.
Absolutely.
In a way. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Kamogelo, in what ways does Identities seek to, engage the audience and engage with the challenges and the complexities around identities?
Yo, that's a question. I think every single day we encounter people, right? And when we encounter people, it's always a pretext of like, it's always about I, it's always about what is not fela, But
that's true.
When you think about identities and identifying, do you also think about others as well, because then that is how wena as mortal you are as well, and how you identify and how you relate with other people as well, So I think that's one challenge that I'm trying to also push and to challenge people about when they get into the space, when they see the exhibition next week Saturday.
All right, so please share more details. Where is it and what times?
So it's next week, Saturday, 27th of January, 11 a.m., Constitutional Hill, Women's Jail. We also like to thank Bag Factory, and it's funded by National Arts Council and Department of Sports and Culture.
All right, Kamogelo and Tshepo, lovely chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time. We certainly hope that, it will achieve whatever desired outcome that you wanted to see.
All right, thank you.